Here's a notebook that I started in 2014. I was in college. I think I mostly got it for my web design class. So I was writing down ideas for my portfolio website. And I think it evolved over time. But it's interesting to see where I was at, ideas that I was being introduced to. This is where I first found a color combination that I really liked. Definitely get down ideas, and was really into budgeting at that time. And here I was first trying to figure out, I think, my first photography business. I was trying to find some words that I liked and would go along with my nature photography. Translating nature. Shifting nature to presence. Revealing the presence of nature. This was part of my internship at Great Big Graphics. And then when I graduated college, I decided, a lot happened, but decided to move to Washington. So here's some directions. And then ended up in southern Washington at the time. And I think when I moved there, I became broke. Luckily, I got a job, but it only paid once per month, and I had car trouble. And it worked out for a few months, and then I inevitably made it down to California because I had family down there in San Diego. So I renovated a house for 6 months starting in December of 2016, I believe. Yeah, that would make sense, since here's some Christmas calligraphy. And then Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I think besides my one semester in Chicago, this was really my first time being away from Vermont for so long. And I think to really know something, you have to spend time away from it. And that was a really important factor in me being in Vermont today and appreciating it, really. During this time, I was living very cheaply because the house I was renovating, I was also living in for $100 a month. And very grateful for that opportunity to get to know my mom's side of the family in San Diego, and my cousins and my aunt and uncle and all of their friends. But ultimately, it came to a point where I had to decide if I was going to stay there or move back. And I decided to go back to Vermont. I didn't actually go to Joshua Tree that time, but I did go while I was in got back to Vermont, made a logo for my uncle. It was a very rushed project, but it worked out pretty well. I basically wrote it in cursive and then digitized it, and that became the logo. Here's another logo I tried but didn't come through. And then who knows, but this might be the start of, these might be the first drawings I made of these wavy mountains. Maybe I'll find some others somewhere else, but this was when I was probably I was back in Vermont in Mooresville, working at a pizza on Main, and I think I was actually working at Great Big Graphics again as well, but I was like wanting to start my design company. I was very driven and saw all this potential in myself to where I could go and where I wanted to be. It's this idea of climbing this mountain, I suppose. It's funny how the arrow is on this straight edge, yet I came to learn that it's more like this. And then who knows where I am at in that trail, but doesn't really matter. Happy to be where I am. So my design business was technically called Design Frame of Mind, or DFOM. And I would always have these tangential ideas of what I wanted to do, and one of them was mind design. I don't know what the purpose of it was going to be, but I just had fun creating things. Maybe I wanted to do apparel for mind design. I don't really know, but I like the font that I made for it. And you never know when you're going to revisit something. This was a slogan I had for a little bit. I would always redo my business cards because I just love designing and love improving. So that's that. And I think this was part of my website I was creating, website concept. Welcome, my name is Eric, and this is a passion project of sorts. My goal is to inspire through photography, be effective with design. DFOM started just as a username on Instagram, and it's always a journey. (2019) Me having trouble. Squares. Too many squares, apparently. But they're nice. I mean, nothing groundbreaking, but it's a little bit of history.